Hello everyone, welcome to the Certified Math Majors channel. Now today I will be showing a video on how to solve a quadratic equation using the AC method. So the AC method is a shortcut technique of solving quadratic equations that is supposed to be solved by factoring. So that means instead of factoring, we're going to do away with that and we're going to use the so-called AC method. Now, before we go into the procedure, let's have first a short overview about quadratic equations. So when we say quadratic equations, these are equations whose highest exponent is 2 and usually the form of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c. Now, the a is the coefficient of the quadratic term or the x squared term. The b is the coefficient of the x term or of the linear term. And c is the constant. Now, in using the AC method from the term itself, which is AC, we only have to consider the values of A and C. Now, let's try to apply the AC method in factoring this example here. We have 4x squared plus 5x plus 1. Now, let's label first the values. A is the coefficient of the quadratic term. That means that is the coefficient of the variable containing the exponent 2. So in the example, you have 4x squared. The exponent is 2 here. So this is your A. Then the coefficient of x is 5. That's your linear term. That's your B. And of course, your constant is C. Now, in the AC method, you only have to multiply the values of A and C. Now, in this case, your A is 4 and your C is 1. So you have 4 times 1, which gives you 4. Now, all we have to do in using the AC method, we only have to factor out the product of A and C. So in this case, since that's 4, we're going to factor out 4 such that the factors would give you a sum that is equal to the coefficient of x, which in this case is 5. So I'm looking for two factors of 4 that will give me a sum of 5. So since this is more than 4, we have to expect that one of the factors should either be equal or greater than 4. So if you're going to list down all the factors of 4, the only factor of 4 which is greater than or equal to 4 is 4. And the other one is 1. Since it's all positive, because it's positive here and then it's positive here, the middle term is positive, your factors has to be positive. Now, these factors of your AC, which is 4 and 1, will be now the basis of your roots. Because when we solve for this one, we are going to solve for the roots. That means we're going to solve for the value of the x. So to solve for the value of x, since you have two factors, you also have two values for x here. Now, these factors of your AC will be the basis for your values of x again. Only this time, you change the sign. So from positive 4, this becomes negative 4. And then the other one from positive 1, that becomes negative 1. And then, after that, whatever is the answer, we are going to divide it by the value of A, which in this case is 4. So since the value of A is 4, we divide this by 4. So your x now is negative 4 divided by 4 is negative 1, and the other x is just equal to negative 1/4. So the solution to 4x squared plus 5x plus 1 is just negative 1 and negative 1/4. Next, let's have another equation. We have, let's say for example, let's try 6 x squared minus 11x minus 10 equals 0. So we will solve for x using the AC method. This is your A here. This is your B. And 10 is your C. So AC method, multiply the values of A and C. That gives you 6 times negative 10. And this gives you negative 60. Now, we're going to factor out 60 in such a way that the sum of the two factors will give us negative 11. So since the sum is negative and the product is negative, one of the factors should be negative. But again, since the sum that we're looking for is negative, the negative factor should be the bigger factor. So since this is 11, we have to have a factor of 60 that is equal or greater than 10. So factors of 60 that is greater than 10, we have 15. And the other one is 4. You can also try 10 and 6. You can also try 10 and 5. Just make sure that when you add them, you check it so that it will give you negative 11. But of those factors of 60 that is, or with one factor that is greater than or equal to 10, only 15 and 4 will give you 11. So since this is negative here, the bigger factor is negative, so you have negative 15 and the other one is positive 4. So these values now of these factors now of negative 60 will be the values of your x. So the other one, you change the sign. So instead of negative 15, that becomes 15. And then instead of 4, that becomes negative 4. Now, these answers, you divide this by A, which is 6. Divide this by A, which is also 6. So, simplifying this, 15 over 6, both numbers can be divided by 3. So, when you divide both numbers by 3, the answer is 5 over 2. Sorry for that. So, that's 5 over 2. And the other one, common is 2, so this is negative. Divide both numbers by 2, so that's 2 over 3. So the values of x here is 5 over 2 and negative 2 over 3. Next, let's have another example. How about if we have 2x squared plus 13x plus 15. So 2x squared plus 13x plus 15. Use the AC method. A times C. Your A is 2. Your C is 15. So that becomes 30. Now, 30 is positive. You're going to factor out 30 so that the sum will give you positive 13. So since it's positive and the product is positive, you have two positive factors. Since the sum is 13, one of the factors should be more than 10. More than or equal to 10. So there are different possible factors of 30 that is more than 10. You could have 15 and 2, you could have 30 and 1, or you could also have 10 and 3. But of the possible combinations of factors that contains one factor that is more than 10, only 10 and 3 will give you the condition that the two factors should have a sum of 13. Because if you're going to add them, 10 and 3 gives you 13. So, this will now be the values of your x, only that the signs will be changed. So, 10 becomes negative and 3 also becomes negative. Next, you divide these values by the values of A, which is 2. So divide this by 2, divide this by 2. So now, negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. The other x, 3. Negative 3 divided by 2 is negative 3 over 2. So the values of x for this equation is x equals negative 5 and x is equals to negative 3 over 2. So that is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel to get updated on the next succeeding videos. So bye for now and enjoy learning.